Good morning. My name is Kim Harklerud, and I'm the founder of Mess SPF. We've got your back. It only takes 2 severe sunburns before the age of 18 to double the risk of developing melanoma later in life. As my dad pictured here can attest, this is more than a statistic. It can become a reality, like it did for him, as well as 3 million people in the US a year. As temperatures rise, we need to be more vigilant now than ever with being out in the sun. So what are our options? The bottom right-hand corner is what we've been doing for decades. Buying sunscreen at a retail store, applying it ourselves, and although effective, it's only effective if done properly. We have 2 competitors, one of which has a step up from that, offering a station, which is still leaving it up to the user to apply and still potentially make mistakes. And in the upper left-hand corner, although they are more effective, they're highly exclusive, very expensive, and not available for the vast public to utilize. Mess SPF fills that gap by being both effective and accessible. We have a 2-sided market, so we'll start with the users. After over 400 interviews, people shared that it's a pain to apply sunscreen. It's a mess for everyone. It's a pain to apply, it's easy to forget to reapply, and parents with kids wiggle, cry, and scream, as you can see here. Everyone wants a convenience, especially these parents. As we look to the future, it's time for a change. Mess SPF has partnered with engineers to bring a new solution that makes it quick, easy, and effective for people to get sunscreen applied and not have to have that worry over their shoulders. So how does it work? Someone steps up to the booth, they read the instructions, they can adjust for their height, they press the start button and take a spin, and they can relax with peace of mind knowing that they had the correct application at the right spots on their body. This past summer, I piloted at 4 different facility types, 2 small beaches, an apartment pool, and a country club pool with over 100 people trying it. Every single person would highly recommend and use again. They'd be willing to spend over $2 per spray. They rated the functionality of professional quality. And if they had a decision between 2 facilities that were similar, Mess SPF would be the deciding factor. Remember I mentioned no one likes to get sunscreen applied, especially kids under 18. 88% of people tried it, and not only that, 60% came back 2 or 3 more times throughout that day. Now, talking about this 2-sided market, the facilities. Knowing that people expected to see this at pools, outdoor recreation, water parks, I needed to interview these facilities to find out what their pain points are and if there is a potential partnership. What they shared with me was that the pandemic has wreaked havoc on their business. It's reduced their revenue, increased costs, and it's been very difficult to find the staff in order for them to even do their regular day-to-day operations. Mess SPF can help them fill that gap by offering an amenity that will increase member satisfaction, allow them to have an additional revenue source, and potentially differentiate themselves with higher retention rates. So the partnership is a revenue model and is a shared proposition. We share in the maintenance as well as the sunscreen costs, and we share in the revenue by charging the end user. Now, I'm sure your next question is, well, what's a per spray or per application cost that I currently have? Most people don't know that amount, but I'll give you a straight calculation. The average sunscreen bottle is anywhere from $12 to $20. If you're applying the correct amount, you should be spending anywhere from $1.89 to $5 per spray or per application. Mess SPF is suggested retail anywhere from $2 to $5, which is comparable. Now, where there's a difference is in the answers. People expected is this evenly applied? Did I get every spot? And they're vastly different answers when you use a bottle versus using an automated system. In the beginning, I was focused on what Juan talked about a little bit ago, customer discovery, really understanding the problem at hand and what needed to be solved. I migrated into doing programs which allowed me to do pitch competitions and get funding so that I could hire engineers to do my minimum viable product and test this out in the market. NC Microgrant was pivotal for my business as I was able to hire an engineering team and go through additional testing and rigor to launch this product that I talked about that I did this summer with the positive results that I had. For the future, my goal will be focused on continuing these partnerships and proposals, looking at improving the models, in addition to expanding my advisory board. My background is in business with a variety of different strategy focused on solving problems and finding opportunities, which has translated well into this venture, which brings a win-win for buyers and users. I enlisted the Rapid Center out of Western Carolina engineering team with over 40 years experience to help me protect hundreds of people already from sunburn. And I've been very lucky to have a financial advisor that has helped guide me along this process, in addition to the Carolina ecosystem offering pitch competitions and microgrants to allow me to fund to date. My goal has, since the beginning, my vision has been to help reduce sunburn and advocate skin cancer prevention. Looking for $150,000 in revenue in funding, in order to enable a tech-enabled model, marketing, and manufacturing. In addition, looking for additional partnerships with swim camps and country clubs. Thank you so much for your time, and remember, we've got your back.
Nice pitch, Kim. It's a real problem. I think anyone that has kids in the room know what it takes to put suntan lotion on, whether they're little kids or even larger kids. I certainly have missed spots on my children, only to have it sunburn splotch on the kids. I'm not completely clear on your revenue model. So in my mind, I'm thinking this is the Peloton model. You're gonna go to a country club, you're gonna sell the tent and the application, and then there's gonna be a monthly charge for the amount of suntan lotion that's used. Is that correct?
So yes, it's a good question. What I did a year ago was I offered the proposals that I did with these different pools was, here's the all-in cost with a projection on how many users are going to use it, and sunscreen is the biggest cost here. What I found was that the facilities were not able to reach that, to have that budget to reach that like all-in cost. And so I kind of looked at it again and I realized, well, there's actually an opportunity for us to share in this because we can keep costs down. People are already spending this amount of money, so just translating them over into using this model. So it was just an easier way in to these facilities, and having this available for users who I've validated over the last couple of years really want this.
Explain the share model.
So what I'll do is the sunscreen cost will go down as I have more facilities and as usage goes up. So I'll offer kind of a tiered pricing model, almost like a subscription. So as more people use it, it'll be better pricing. So we'll share in that cost. And then as far as utilizing the maintenance and servicing, it's pretty low key. So they can likely use their who they already have. Or if not, we can figure out what that looks like.
The one thing I would say is, who's going to spend the money for this? And my first reaction is country clubs, right? That would be a great amenity to have at any of the country clubs in Charlotte, or private beaches, that type of thing. It's an amenity business to them. And it's like the more amenities I can provide for my constituents, the better. So my recommendation there is that should be your target market, at least to start at, until you're at scale. Speaking of scale, is the production of the tent and the application, is that still in proof of concept mode, or is that at scale yet? Like, can you manufacture that at scale?
I could take, the model that I had this past summer, I can take to manufacture and with my bill of materials and have it reproduced. It worked great. I saw it in person. I've done these pilots the last couple of years, and it was a huge difference because the engineers took 4 months to do testing to see the spray patterns.
To manufacture one of those at scale, I should say.
Well, my current cost is like $2,500. Okay. Yeah, so it's pretty low. That's something I will cover, and over time, it's not going to be a 50-50 split in the shared revenue cost because I'll be paying back the machine.
Got it.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see the number of applications you have to apply in order to recoup that cost. $2,500 isn't a ton of money, but you start doing that to every country club, it's going to get quite expensive for you. So.
Surprisingly, my payoff, I can actually break even after even a month with the current model.
what are the assumptions that you're baking into that?
So because of the cost of the sunscreen and ways that I can reach the quantities that I need to get better pricing, that's something a facility can't do on their own. Like they won't be able to singly, reach the volume that I can then hit by having a couple out in the market. So it's really just if my cost is, if we're charging $2 to $5, I just need my cost to be, anywhere south of $1.50, and I can recover that pretty quickly.
So how many applications do you need then in order to break even in that first month?
So the scenario that I wrote out was for a community center. So the break-even point would be about 20,000 sprays. But for some of these places, they might have a swim camp that they're putting kids through twice a day. So that, and 700 kids, that adds up very quickly.
Okay.
Can you swap out the SPF, the different suntan lotions pretty easily?
Yeah, I've tested, the engineers tested a couple of different brands. So yeah, there's more testing to do on expanding that out and looking at that, that opportunity. I was using a brand that I, personally felt had the right ingredients for all my pilots, and so I'll continue that search.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a struggle, definitely, just given what the market is, how many different options are out there. And as a mom with 2 young kids, I absolutely recognize what the issue is. But I think it's just going to be really hard to build enough awareness with people to, because I think the assumptions that you're baking in are that somebody comes to the, community center, country club, wherever, and they know that this is available to them. They can do it, all of that. I think that's going to be really hard to kind of gain that traction with it. And for me, the problem to solve is not strong enough to say wow, this is absolutely something new that I need for myself, because there are substitutes out there. Are they as good? No, but as a busy mom who's doing other things, it's okay, I have this. I know I can apply it myself. I know it's done. All of that. So yeah, I struggle with the proposition being strong enough to really gain enough traction for you to be as profitable as you suspect. So
Yeah, that's why I recommend going as upmarket as you can. Make this a real premium brand. Package it like Apple packages their products, and go to the country clubs, the places that it's all about providing an amenity. Start there and work your way down. Community center's great. They may churn 700 kids through, but can they really afford something like this? Mm-hmm. I think that's what you're getting at. It's tough for a community center probably to work this into their budget. Country club, it's all about amenities and similar organizations like that. So start at the top and kind of work your way down. Do we have time for audience? Unless you have anything else, Kat?
No, I don't.
Right. Just a quick question. You've mentioned on a couple of occasions that sunscreen was probably your biggest cost, right? Mm-hmm. So I think I kind of heard you talk about a brand, but is that something that are you white labeling? Do you have your own kind of proprietary formula, or are you just kind of buying whatever you can get cheap? What's kind of the strategy there?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Rephrase the questions for the
Oh, sure. Yeah. Oh, so his question was around if what brands I'm considering, if I'm considering a private label, and what those costs look like. Yeah, it's a good question. It's something I've, for a while. In the beginning, I thought I would like to partner with up-and-coming brands because a lot more brands that are coming into the market have more natural ingredients. And I don't know if you've seen any articles that have been released, but every week there's a new article coming out, like this ingredient is in, I won't mention any brands, but there's bad ingredients that cause cancer in sunscreen. So my goal was to try to partner with brands that are kind of on the up and up, and they have that expertise. But yeah, as I've gone through the revenue model, I think it would make sense to consider private label just to get costs to come down because, yeah, it's kind of the markups. So yeah, I'm kind of looking at both, and we'll see where I land.
That just reminds me, what about a sponsorship opportunity? Wouldn't Banana Boat love to put their logo on your tin? Just a thought to offset some of the costs.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I've considered, yeah.
I think we have one more. Hey, so I had a quick point of view here, not so much a question. It seems to me that if you get a country club to be the first adopter, where they come in and say, look, we are looking after our, campers, and we are making it safer for you. So essentially, you go and create a value proposition. You should come to this camp. So tie it to an incremental revenue for them as a selling model for you. Because otherwise, as what she said, I have kids. I can't be like, okay, I have to send them to that country club because that's who have the spray that makes it easy, right? So, and the second thing is that what's preventing someone else to come in and doing exactly what you're doing?
Yeah, I think ultimately I'm fine with more competition because this is like a cause that's near and dear to my heart. So if we all, there's not enough. Like the bottom line is there's only 2 other companies doing this and they have not penetrated the US market. One is in 5 locations in the US at 4- and 5-star hotel pools. That's not making a mark on reducing sunburn and skin cancer. So that's not, I understand that's like a concern, but my focus is to build my business, be out there in as many places as possible. If that means someone else comes in, great. I would love to penetrate the market so that this is not an issue that my niece and nephew have to deal with in the future.
And that's going to be time. If you've got other questions, be sure to catch her afterwards. Kim, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Give it up for Kim.